Hello, my friends. I missed you so much, so much. And I'm so happy to have a few minutes to hop on here today and to talk to you. As you can see behind me, I am almost moved into my new place. I've been here for about 3 months now, and almost all of the major things are done. I have some other little things I need to work on, but for the most part, the place is done and comfortable and really starting to feel like home. As you know, this is my very first place that I have ever had to myself. I have never lived alone in 53 years, and it has been amazing, actually. I don't feel like I had to report back. Well, in my last relationship, let me say that. I don't feel like I had to report back ever, really, to say, I'm going to be home late, or I want to go out with my friends or something like that. But in my relationship before that, it was an issue. We could talk about that another day, but that was an issue. But for me now, I leave the house in the morning and I go to work all day long, and then I come home and I study all night long. And I've been cooking. I love the fact that my house is clean and organized all the time. I love the fact that it's pretty small. This is you can't see it, but this is part of the family room. And then behind me is the bedroom. And in front of me is the kitchen. And then that's pretty much it. It's pretty small. Definitely the smallest place I've ever lived. But it's absolutely everything that I need. And it's nothing that I don't need. There is literally no extra space here. But I got my wish. I am on the water, and I'm only about 10 minutes away from work. And I just love the fact that everything in here is so intentional. When I left Georgia to move back to Florida, for anyone who had seen my videos at that time, I literally packed up a 5x7 U-Haul, put a hitch on my car, and I didn't take anything that didn't fit in there. And it is exactly a year later right now. I have been at my job for 11 months already. It's really interesting to look at how my life was and how it is. And my son said something to me the other day. Well, you haven't seen me cry in a while, so anyway, my son said something to me the other day. Let me just back up super quick. I'll tell you a little bit more about school and we'll catch up on that, but I was invited to join the Honor Society, and that's not something that I was invited to do when I was in college 30 years ago. And I was proud of it, but I was not going to go to the induction ceremony. I really just wasn't going to go. And I sent my son a screenshot of the invitation just to show him that I was invited. And I was on the phone with him, and he said to me, well, guess what? You are going. I just booked a trip down to Florida. I'm going to go with you. And so anyway, I just wanted to tell you that fun little story. He literally flew down from New York for a few days to go with me, and him and my dad and my dad's wife went with me. And it was very special. It really was very nice. And then we went out to dinner after. But anyway, so that should tell you that school is going pretty well. But a couple of nights ago, my son said to me that, and I didn't know this, that my father had told him often that when I was younger, I was such a hard worker and so motivated and always, needed to be the best and a great salesperson and blah, 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 and all of these great things about me. And apparently, I have been in long-term relationships since I was 19 years old. And apparently, I'm not going to blame it on them because I can't do that. I could only put the blame on myself, but I allowed myself to be in situations and in relationships where I guess I didn't always have the chance to be me and to kind of let my light shine. And I tried every way that I could, but there was still something about me that was different. And I know that, looking back and doing the work that I've done, I mean, I know that. But my son said to me the other day, he told me this about my dad, and then he told me that he finally sees in me right now the things that my dad and my family have told him about me. And he said he felt like I was, I don't think the word was trapped, but in situations where I just really couldn't be who I wanted to be. And that was really special to hear. And I know how proud of me my kids are and my family is, and even my friends are. I really do know that. And I've told you guys 100 times what a support system I have. And this whole experience, you know, this has been, I've had a few rough years in my life, but this past year has been absolutely one of the most difficult years of my life. And at the same time, one of the greatest years of my life. A year later, I still get emotional like this, so what does that tell you? But having my relationship end and learning how to deal with not only not being with him and not being in that relationship, but the effect that it had on other people in the family who I was very close to, considered myself very close to. It's tough because we still communicate and we still have a lot of love for each other, the family. But it's different. I hate to say that it is, and maybe it's not as different as I'm making it in my head, but it's different. One of the great joys that came out of that relationship was helping to raise his daughter, who I just love and adore. And she's graduating from high school this year, and I can't be there, or I won't be there. So some things are different that came as a result of that relationship ending. And then all of the questions that I still ask myself to this day. And I just tell myself that it's because there was a lot of love, that there's so much grief, even a year later. One of my friends told me the other day that she wanted to set me up with someone, and I told her that she was out of her fucking mind. Way too much healing left to do. Anyway, I'm very sorry that I just got so emotional, but I only want to be raw and real with you, and I really don't want to only pop on here when I have good things to say, because truthfully, I really do have only good things to say. I am dealing with my grief. I don't just let it sit around, and it's something that I'm actively working on. And so I look at myself a year ago, and if you look at my videos from a year ago, the grief was different. There was a lot of unknown, and now it's a year later, and I'm living in my own place that is decorated the way that I want to decorate it, and it's filled with beautiful energy. I just love it here. I have a job that I've been at for 11 months, and I'm in sales, but it's also on the medical side of things. And so I kind of can combine the two things that I love right now. And it's been a great atmosphere, and I've met some incredible people, and just a great experience. And then on top of that, school. And so just a brief quick update, I am now in my 3rd semester of my prereqs. I took ethics this semester and chemistry, and I just finished ethics, so I have about 7 weeks left of chemistry. And then next week I start my prep for my test out. We talked about that a little bit, for developmental psychology. So I'm hopeful that I can get that done by the end of the semester. And then I only have 3 classes left for prereqs, and then I transfer to nursing school. So if all goes as planned, I will have 2 classes in the summer, 1 in the fall, and then in the spring I should transfer to nursing school. So I'm very excited about that. And at work I have the opportunity to speak with a lot of nurses, and it's been incredible for me, because once they find out that I'm studying nursing, or that I'm doing my prereqs for nursing, I get some incredible stories, recommendations. It's just been beautiful. And then when I was in class, in my chemistry class a couple of weeks ago, I found out that the woman who sits in front of me, her mother teaches spiritual nursing for hospice practices in Israel, and she's doing and talking about all of the things that are important to me. And this woman told me that she would connect us and introduce me to her mom. So I'm very excited about that as well. I've never really spoken to anyone who has like the idea in their head that I do when it comes to putting nursing and hospice and what I want to do with my life together. And meanwhile, this lady, she's a doctor and nurse practitioner, and she did all of her dissertations on exactly what interests me. And in my ethics class in the early part of the semester, I actually did my research report on integrating spirituality and religion into hospice and palliative care. And so I am very much looking forward to this introduction. I kind of think that that's it. You guys got a pretty good update today, and I really, truly, every time I procrastinate and talk about making a video, there's something, and I know you understand this, when I haven't done it in a while, I get, I don't know, like a little anxious or something about making a video. And then as soon as I start it and I start talking again, I feel like, I don't know why I felt that way, but it happens every time. So I really, truly am going to try to come on here a little bit more often and update you, because there's a lot of really exciting things that are going on right now, and I want to dig a little bit deeper into those. Anyway, okay, I'm letting you go now. It's been so nice to be back. I really did miss you, and I hope that I get to see you again very soon. Bye.